Hi, my name is Jeremy, and this is a clone version of a Super 73 Z1, and it comes jam-packed with a ton of features not found on the actual Super 73 Z1 itself. Plus, it's 40% cheaper than what they sell here in Australia. We've made a review video on that bike, and if you want to watch that, please click on the link above. Now, if you've seen that video and you want to find out how we got these bikes, well, today we're going to be sharing with you how we imported these fake Super 73 electric bikes into Australia. And we'll also be sharing with you our many painful mistakes of importing these bikes. And hopefully you benefit from watching this video, do a better job in importing, and get a better deal yourself. Welcome to Importing Your Own Electric Bikes from AliBaba 101. And the first thing that you'll want to know is the name of our supplier, which is pronounced SOBOWO? SOBOWO? I must admit, the name of the company does sound like a famous rally car from the 90s. But this company sells electric bicycle, and they sell all kinds of it. And this is what's available on their website. So you might want to take a look around to find out which one you like best. Now, if you want to order from a different supplier on AliBaba, just make sure you look for these badges. This Gold Supplier badge means that a supplier has premium membership on AliBaba. And this one means that a supplier has been assessed, inspected, and certified by a third party. And as long as you stick to dealing with suppliers with these badges, you will greatly reduce your risks of running into a scammer. Now, this is SOBOWO's accreditation. They have been on AliBaba for 6 years, and they're also a gold supplier. And they also have diamonds. Diamonds indicates a supplier's performance. 5 is the highest, and SOBOWO has 2. Now that you know how to tell a dodgy supplier from a proper reputable supplier, now it's time to make contact. Now, usually you can make contact using WeChat or WhatsApp. But if this is your first time dealing with them, it's best to keep all your communications within the AliBaba app. That way, if there's a dispute on your transaction, AliBaba has a copy of all your conversations. Now, when you're ready to order from any supplier, make sure you know exactly what you want. Say, for example, if you don't want this adjustable stem, tell them. And if you want a dual battery setup or a bigger battery, that can also be spec'd. Remember, almost everything can be spec'd for a price. And there is no detail too small, and you cannot make assumptions, because if you do, your expectations may not align with the final product that arrives, and that to me is an even bigger disappointment. Oh, and remember to ask them about their delivery time. We were promised 70 days for our bikes, but it took over 100 days because of public holidays in China. Now, as for speccing the motors, if you intend to ride these on public roads in Australia, you're best to stick with a 250-watt motor, as you'll be asked to declare that when applying for a vehicle import permit. What? And yes, because these are motorized bicycle, this falls under the jurisdiction of the department with the longest name ever. And yes, you'll need to get a permit from them to be able to import e-bikes into Australia. We'll talk more about that later on in the video. Now that you've confirmed the specs, you're happy with the delivery time, you're happy with the price, now it's time to talk shipping. Now, you can either let the supplier choose a freight forwarder for you, or you can choose one yourself. And here lies our biggest mistake. Because we didn't know of any local freight forwarders here, and we were lazy to do the simplest of Google search to find one, we naively told the supplier to choose one for us and ship the goods over. Big mistake. This shipping term is called CIF, which means cost, insurance, and freight, which means when the goods arrives at the destination port, you have no control over what the freight forwarder is going to charge you for your goods. And if you decide to say that it's too expensive and you say, "F it, I'm not going to pay for it," well, the freight forwarder can still charge you for storage for every day your goods are kept in their bonded warehouse. Trust us, you definitely do not want CIF. If we were able to do it all over again, we'd do a quick Google search and find a freight forwarder with the cheapest rates, and that way we'll know what the final cost is upfront and there are no hidden charges. This term is called FOB, which means free on board, and it means that your supplier is only responsible for sending the goods to the port in China, and your designated freight forwarder will take over from there. So after settling freight, now it's time to make payment. And just like keeping your communications within the AliBaba app, it's also recommended that you make payment through AliBaba, because that way you'll get trade assurance. This is a free service from AliBaba, and it protects your order from payment until delivery, which means if your supplier fails to deliver, AliBaba will refund you your payment. This greatly reduces your exposure to being scammed. Like we mentioned earlier, e-bikes are treated the same way as you wanting to import a Japanese spec Subaru into Australia, which means you need a vehicle import permit. And to get a vehicle import permit, you'll need a certificate of compliance. And to comply with Australian rules, the motors on your electric bikes needs to be under 250 watt. However, there is a tiny loophole, and that is, if you only promise to ride your electric bikes on private property, then you can spec it with a larger motor. Now the following is something we wish we knew ahead of time. We had no clue that we needed to apply for a vehicle import permit until a week before the bikes were arriving at the docks. And as a result, we couldn't clear the bikes on time, and we had to pay $200 for 3-night storage at the bonded warehouse. Big mistake. There are hotels cheaper than that we could have stored the bikes in. So, the painful lessons here are: lesson number 1, make sure you get your own freight forwarder, and that way you'll get full transparency of the cost of shipping and terminal charges. Lesson number 2, make sure you apply for a vehicle import permit straight away, preferably after making payment. Now, despite our import mistakes, we were still able to land these bikes cheaper than a Super 73, and that's because we ordered more than one bike. And because of that, we were able to split the cost of shipping between these two bikes. So, if you're considering to get one of these, perhaps try to order more than one. Try to find a mate, or maybe do a group buy, and perhaps you can get a container load and save tons on shipping. Look, this is the first time that we have ever imported anything into Australia. So if you have a different experience, please share them with us in the comments section below, so we can all learn together. Now, if you have found this video to be helpful, please give us a thumbs up or share it with a friend. And please do consider subscribing, as it will genuinely help us create more videos like these. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!